Peace. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living one, the author of life, the perpetual, powerful, almighty that moves all things in place. There is none like the Spirit of Truth, the Spirit which moves all things in place. It is what you cannot see, folks, that allows us this material world that we do see. Okay, there's another place that is of pure love, all right? It's not this place here. This place here is a two-faced love. People love you for a little bit, but then something changes in us, man. And then we start picking at each other. What is it that we start picking at each other? You start picking at each other because of power. Women are trying to control their men, and men try to control the women. It was never meant to be like that, folks. It was meant for man and woman to walk side by side, not to rule one or the other. But now you got egos that are in effect. You have people that have been misguided and misled by media, Hollywood, and the music industry. They're driving evil down your throat, and people sit and listen to it. People are tattooing themselves up today, full sleeve tattoos. Women, I got news for you. There's nothing more disgusting or vile. I love tattoo. I love artwork. I really, truly do. Put it in a frame and put it on a wall. Okay? Put it on your desk at work or something if the tattoo means that much to you. If that's the kind of things you want to do, and men, young men, if anybody's listening to this, stay away from these kinds of women. Okay? And you stay away from tattoos yourself, okay? Parents aren't telling you what's going on. The people aren't reading the Bible any. And it's going to leave you in a world of shit when it comes that time for judgment, okay? All will be judged. All will stand before the glory of the Supreme Spirit of Truth, all right? I hope that there is no hell or hellfire or anything other like that. I hope that it's only, like the Hindus say, man, reincarnation, that would really be something else. Our energy force, as you exhale your last breath here, you're inhaling your breath in another world, starting your life all over. History repeats itself. That is some mind-blowing stuff that I just said there. Not that it's true, but it's definitely anything thinking outside of the box of this plane of existence isn't a stupid thing, folks. You have to use your noggin. You can't be taught from others what's going on. If a minister tells you that this Bible is a perfect manuscript and that there's no contradictions in it, then you need to run from that minister. Okay? They are of the devil. They do not read this Bible. They are trying to drag you down. There are two kinds of people. And between those two nations of people, we have been breeding out vampires and demons and devils and ghosts. That's what it means to be a phantom nation. This is why everything that is named after the military are all phantoms and vipers and devils and demons. And that's what they name all the aircraft after. This is why FBI agents and CIA agents are called spooks, because this plane of existence isn't real. It's a temporary post. You got a soul that's been trapped inside of your flesh suit. And it's your soul that they feed off of while you live in your flesh suit. Okay? Your soul is what powers this plane of existence. Without your soul here, evil can't exist. This is why the Spirit says he doesn't want you worshiping and living in the flesh. The flesh is carnal. Okay. When the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Choose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from the right where the priests are standing, and carry them over with you and put them down at the place where you stay tonight." Joshua called together the 12 men he had appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe, and said to them, "Go over before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulders according to the number of the tribes of the Israelite, to serve as a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it crossed the Jordan. The waters of Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever." Now, right there, folks, stopping a river from flowing, dividing rivers from the Red Sea. Why is it called the Red Sea? That Moses separated the sea. Why is it called the Red Sea? Because these are the tablets of God. See, Moses here parting the Red Sea like this is a metaphor for the largest artery that goes right through the center of our brain. It's the largest artery in our body. All right. And blood is just pumping through this thing, feeding the brain oxygen. Okay. In the left and right hemispheres of the brain, this is representing right here the two tablets. That's what you got right here. The left and right hemisphere of the brain. This is what your commandments are written on. Okay? They don't need to be on a stone, folks, for you to understand that if you're walking down the street and you see a drive-by and somebody bleeds out right in front of you, that would be a horrifying experience. It's not something that you'd want to happen to you. At the same time, you got to understand this is the Creator correcting somebody. He punishes according to his laws and commandments. Let me say, if you're kicking in somebody's door to fucking steal their cocaine and shit, and you shoot somebody to steal their cocaine, then guess what, man? Maybe you get away with it for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. But eventually what's going to happen is somebody's going to kick in your door and they're going to steal your cocaine. And they're going to shoot people inside of your home. And they're going to off you, because that's the way it works. It's a balance system, folks. You get out of this world what you put into it. If you do righteous acts, then you are going to be rewarded kindly. Okay? And this one here is kind of scary, because that's what this here is molding man from flesh and blood to machine. This is what you call transhumanism. This is this right here. Watch out for 666.
As his plan for replacing cash, checks, and credit cards for the perfect world, at the punch of a computer key.
Oh, sorry.
Guarantee. Watch out for 666. That the hour is soon coming when men will become machines.
So I'm telling you, folks, this is serious stuff. Okay? I'm trying to explain to you that these people in the music industries that are making these videos and stuff like this, they're showing you the truth. All right? Satan has to show you the truth. This is the plane of existence of both good and evil. So he's showing you the truth right in front of your face, and you guys are sitting here singing songs, you know, and just reveling in all of the evil. And you don't know it. And then all of a sudden you're going to stand before the Spirit of God, and, you know, who knows what he's going to do. It's his show, man. He's going to forgive who he wants to forgive. Picking up at 7. In the future, when your children ask you, "What do these stones mean?" tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it crossed the Jordan. The waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. Well, wouldn't that be something to see? Are those stones as a memorial still there? Here, let's see. So I'm kind of curious. 12 stones, is it this one here? I know it's not any of this or any of that. That wouldn't last through the times. And as something that would be set up like that, I mean, you think that something would be set around it so that it's never touched. So my question once again is this stone here still to this day? Are they set up? Anybody have any true images? Could anybody give you a picture today of the 12 stones? Because that's a mighty strong man that can move a stone that damn big. So the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan according to the number of the tribes of the Israel, as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them over with them to their camp, where they put them down. Joshua set up the 12 stones that had been in the middle of the Jordan at the spot where the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. Well, that'd be, if they are there to this day, I'd like to see that. That's something that would be interesting to see. Take a picture of that. Any Israelites in here have pictures of that, live in that providence of the area? Go ahead and send me a real picture of it. If the question to be that I'm asking here is, if they're still there to this day, if these stones are there to this day, then why is this it? This would probably look like the most realistic one of all. Could you imagine somebody trying to go up there and throw one of these stones off and start tearing this thing down? I think you'd get whacked off, man. You'd be wiped off. Okay. Now the priests who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done by the people. Just as Moses had directed Joshua, the people hurried over, and as soon as all of them had crossed the ark of the Lord, the priest came to the other side while the people watched. The men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over, ready for battle, in the front of Israelites, as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over before the Lord to the plains of Jericho for war. That day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sights of all Israel, and they stood in awe of him all the days of his life, just as they had stood in awe of Moses. So I'm sorry, folks, that there, if you're standing in awe of a man, Moses or Joshua, then that's idol worship. Don't care how you try to spin it, Israel. If you're exalting Moses and you're exalting Joshua as God, as the Lord exalted Joshua in the sights of Israel, remember the Lord here is Yahweh. This is a man, so this is a man exalting another man in the sights of Israel, and Israel stood in awe of him all the days of his life. Yeah, well, I don't stand in awe of any man today. I'm in awe that I'm a creation of the Supreme Spirit, a vessel, whether good or evil, used for his glory. I am a vessel for the Creator's glory, no other's glory. I submit to him, I call on him, I worship him, I love him, I walk with him, I talk, I share. I am completely devoted to what's outside of myself, which I can't see, which is also inside of myself. Okay? You have to be in touch with the Spirit. Then the Lord said to Joshua, command the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant law to come up from the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priest, come up out of the Jordan. And the priest came up out of the river carrying the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. No sooner had they set their feet on dry ground than the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at flood stage as before. In all of the Bible movies that I've ever watched as a kid growing up, I've never seen this part of the story ever told, where Joshua crosses the Jordan River and the Jordan River stops. Don't you think that that would be one of the bigger stories to tell us in Hollywood, with like they did with Moses? Do any of you really honestly believe that Moses struck a stick on a rock and an ocean just split right in front of these people, folks? Because these are riddles and metaphors, okay? Whales don't swallow people and regurgitate them 3 days later. Men can't walk on water, okay? A multitude of 5,000 can't be fed with only 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And donkeys don't talk to people. 8 crew members can't feed 3 million animals on an ark. You have to start using common sense and what's being said in these scriptures. I know God today. I know him. I didn't before. When whatever has happened to me, folks, I pray that the same can happen to you as well. That's all I can say. Because only a few, man. I've been doing this for years now, man. I got 395 subscribers. 398 subscribers now after 3 years. Okay? I've made literally myself over 10 to 15,000 posts in 3 years. Hundreds of posts in days building my channel, posting shorts, building my channel. I get people that come in, and then as soon as they hear the information that I'm giving, they run. Okay? The Spirit says you test a man by his fruits. If I'm sitting here and I'm talking to people about God, and I'm showing that there's 2 races, and that there's one God is saying that he is the God of the living, he's not the God of the dead, then that tells you that there is also a God of the dead. As I started this show, you need to start waking up to stuff like that. So Joshua commanded the priest to come up out of the Jordan, and the priest came up out of the river, carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. No sooner did their feet set on dry ground that the waters of the Jordan returned to their places, and they ran the flood stage as before. On the 10th day of the month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho. And Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. He said up to the Israelites, in the future, when your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them, Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done to the Red Sea, when he dried it up before us until we had crossed over. He did this so that all the people of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that they might also fear the Lord your God. The Lord, Yahweh, your God, Elohim. Let's take a look at this parable here. Joshua chapter 4, verse 24, Bible Hub. He did this so that all the people of the earth may know that the hand of the Lord, Yahweh, proper name of God of Israel. Okay, this is not the Gentile God. This is the Gentile God that they hate. Okay, this Lord here, more than likely, is that's a man. I don't know, man. I don't serve anything that's placed itself in a position above others. We are all equal when we're all servants of one God. I don't understand slavery, but that's not my God. I worship the Spirit now. I don't know that the Supreme Spirit of Truth is Yahweh. I don't know that it's Gilgamesh. I don't know that it's Melchizedek, Enlil, Enki, Yah. Yahweh, Yahweh, any of the names that are in these Bibles, I don't know that they are the supreme, self-existing, eternal spirit, the living one. They claim that they're living, but remember, folks, there's a difference between the living, which are the walking dead, and those that are of spirit. So you need to, and the Lord your God, and this is Elohim. Elohim. Okay, plural of Eloah. And all of these Elohim, Elohim, Helonu, Helai, all of them are plural of Eloah. So if they're all plural of Eloah, and then Eloah again is El, they're all El, electricity, electrified, the elected, the elite, the elevated, those that are chosen. Okay. And closing out on the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho. I think I already read it. Hold on. Well, it appears I've lost my place. I usually mark it like that. Okay, so I'm just going to pick back up at 19. And I know that as I'm reading this, it's saying the same thing too. They're being repetitious on these chapters here as well. On the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho. And Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. He said to the Israelites, in the future, when your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground, for the Lord your God dried up. Oh yeah, the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you crossed the river. I'm sorry about that because we were down here at 24. I must have had a brain fart or anything. Anyways, all praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living one. Have a wonderful day. This is White Raptor News Ministries.